Detroit Lions traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. The Packers are 7-point favorites in this game. I do like the Green Bay Packers to win this game. I think even if the Packers offense doesn't figure it out, it's going to be a tough challenge. It might be similar to what the game that we saw last year at Lambeau, where the Packers still even had a shot to win that game on a field goal late in that game. Albeit a long field goal. You got to limit some of the big plays for Detroit, and I think this defense can do it. Early on last year, it was hit or miss if they could or not, and it was actually special teams that kind of put the dagger in them last year. So, but I think they've kind of shored that up almost since that game. So, I do like the Packers in this one. 7 points. I would actually take Detroit in the 7 in this one, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that because, I still think the Lions, albeit in a heartbreaking, typical Lions loss last week at Ford Field, I do like how at times they can look. They're basically like the Oakland Raiders of the NFC. I think a halfway decent offense. Defense, parts of it are bad, and a lot of mistakes. Just a lot of mistakes for the Detroit Lions. Next game is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles, and the Steelers are going to be 3.5-point favorites for this one on the road. I had a Steeler fan at work thinking this is going to be a good game. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will, at least at some point, just blow the top off this game and run away with it. It might be a game up until halftime, maybe halfway through this third quarter. Carson Wentz, in these first 2 weeks, I think has played extraordinarily well. But, in a game where in the first half you kept giving chances, I think 2 field goals were all they had in the first half against the Chicago Bears. If you do any of that nonsense or not, non-scoring, I guess you can say, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to put points up. They're going to score. It could get ugly. It could get bad. I do like the Steelers in this one. Probably the game of the week here is going to be the Denver Broncos on the road traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The Bengals are 3-point favorites in this game, so I can't make this my upset special. But I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. After a close loss to their rivals in the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they're going to be coming back, playing pretty hard. They kept Antonio Brown in check. They can play very good defense. For Trevor Siemian, this is going to be a pretty big test. This game might be won by a final score of 3-0, and that maybe that Denver defense scores a safety to 2-0 win. I don't know, but I have a feeling the Bengals, they're going to play with a lot of heart. And it's hard. It is hard too to bet against that Denver Bronco defense, especially how they played last year in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, and how they're starting off this season. Next game is going to be the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. Panthers are 7-point favorites in this game. And I kind of mentioned this before. I'm going to take Carolina. I think you're defensively, you're playing a pretty similar team in the pack as the Packers were last week, where they only put up 17 points. And I think we can all agree on that Cam Newton-led offense against even a defense that's as good as the Minnesota Vikings can put up more than that. So I do like the Carolina Panthers in this game. Next game is the Washington Redskins traveling to New York to play the Giants. The Giants are 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to go with an upset special. I'm going to go here Washington. This is going to be a pure heart pick here. I actually kind of liked what I seen out of the Giants last week defensively. If you would have told me last week would have been a 16-13 win, I would have thought you were crazy. I was thinking we were going to see something similar to what we've seen these two teams do last year when it was a 38-35 score where I don't think the punters for either the Saints or the Giants seen the field. Basically, a blocked field goal return for a touchdown was how the Giants scored their only touchdown of the game. So, I mean, the offense, Josh Norman, he might be getting in Odell Beckham's head, and he's going to be blanketing him, on Sunday. So we might see part two of the craziness that ensued last year when the Giants played the Carolina Panthers, and maybe gets them ahead because, and two, the Washington Redskins, 0-2 team now that really needs to get that win. Otherwise, I think this team, even with, I think, a more talented team than what they're showing on the field so far this year, if they do go 0-3, it could be Cleveland Brown bad. Locker rooms could get ugly in Washington. So they need this win. A clear mind, I can't remember how that goes. A clear eyes, a clear heart, can't lose. Whatever they say on Friday Night Lights. Next game is going to be the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills, who are 4-point underdogs in this one. I do like the Arizona Cardinals in this one. They rebounded after that loss to the Patriots, which seems a lot less embarrassing now that we've seen how they played the other two games that they've played. So I don't think we have to worry too much about how they performed week one versus the Jimmy Garoppolo-led New England Patriots. And, coming out last week and playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just laying a spanking on them and making Jameis Winston, who had a great week one, made him look like he was, a high school freshman quarterback damn near. So, the defense got back on track. And this team, I think, is still going to be right in the mix of maybe being a number one seed in the NFC. And, of course, going to Buffalo, where the Bills, oh boy, what more can you say about the Buffalo Bills? They still got Rob Ryan leading that defense. He won't figure out how to stop 90-year-old Larry Fitzgerald. Next game is going to be the Baltimore Ravens versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Baltimore Ravens are favored by a point. And I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. Maybe call it my upset special. I don't know. I haven't gone through all the games here yet. But, again, their loss to the Packers week one, I think it was kind of maybe you could say it was their Super Bowl. They played well for it. They totally laid an egg against San Diego, which I don't know if we can say San Diego are they that good or Jacksonville that bad. It could be somewhere in between there. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I think they looked pretty well against Kansas City week one, but Jacksonville, I think they get that offense going a little bit more, and I think this will be a damn fine game. And again, traveling across country too, basically from coast to coast to play the Chargers. I still think that might be a little bit underlooked in a lot of people's eyes. Starting off the afternoon games, the San Francisco 49ers traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, there I said it. I've said it differently than I normally do. But anyway, the Seahawks are 9.5-point favorites. And I know I've talked to people at work. They think this could be a game. I don't think so. If Russell Wilson plays back to if he gets any mobility back that he clearly didn't have last week, this is an easy game. I think it was a big shocker. Again, you judged one game of the Los Angeles Rams in week one against the 49ers, and maybe you overrated the Niners too a little bit. Seattle will be fine. We know how slow, they get off to those slow starts. It's time to pick it up. Russell Wilson, again, if he plays a little bit more like a healthy Russell Wilson, they win this game easy. Next game is going to be the LA Rams, 5.5-point underdogs as they travel to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. and I do like the Buccaneers in this one, albeit how poorly Jameis Winston played. They still have a high-powered offense, and again, I think we can say now the Rams aren't as bad as they looked in Week 1, but they still can't put up a lot of points, still have yet to put up a touchdown. This week will be the week that happens, but I think the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will put up more points. So there. Next game is going to be the New York Jets traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 3-point favorites, and this might be my upset special. I'm going to go with the New York Jets to win this game. Just liking what I see. Ryan Fitzpatrick, after a little bit shaky of a game versus the Cincinnati Bengals Week 1, came out firing on all cylinders last week, albeit again a terrible Rob Ryan-led defensive team. But they're hot right now, and really the Chiefs are pretty close to being 0-2, and I don't really know what to think of the Chiefs right now. They're still a pretty talented team. They're still a team that, if they get on the right track, can compete with the division, even if they fall to 1-2, I guess. The next game is going to be the San Diego Chargers traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. The Colts are 2.5-point favorites in this game. I'm going to go with the San Diego Football Chargers. Again, just kind of liking what I see out of the San Diego Chargers right now too. Albeit that I don't like it, that I like what I see. That makes sense. I think they're not as bad as people thought, and the Colts, they might be as bad as they were last year. Andrew Luck can't get any protection. The Chargers are playing at a level where they lost Aiken, they lost Woodhead for the year. They keep on rolling. Next man up, Melvin Gordon, might be your time to shine, buddy. Next game is going to be the Sunday night matchup between the Chicago Bears, led by Brian Hoyer, it looks like, against traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Cowboys are 7-point favorites in this game. I like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's playing smart football. He has to do that, and he's doing it pretty well so far. Ezekiel Elliott, he's got to shore up the fumbling issues. This is maybe his coming out party this week, having an overall up and down good game as our NFL running back. The Bears are in bad shape. They might be going blow for blow with the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills to be the worst team in football, especially without Jay Cutler, as much as we want to make fun of him. Next game, final game, is the Monday night game with the Atlanta Falcons traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints. And Saints are 3-point favorites in this ball game. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons dropping the New Orleans Saints to 0-3. Really, I think it's going to be in turf, so it's going to be, this game is going to legitimately be a shootout. I think we're going to see that, and I'm not going to call it out just like I did last week with them playing the New York Giants. I think we will see a shootout for sure in this game. Both defenses not very good at defense, and offenses are pretty good at playing offense. And it'll be a similar showdown to what we've seen, I think, in Week 1 when the Saints played the Raiders. So I'm going to say the unraveling of maybe Sean Payton in New Orleans will begin. And with that being said, I got about a minute left here, so I'm going to wrap this show up. I'd like to thank you all for listening to basically my Week 3 preview. You can listen to us, all week long, on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. Just search Sports Talk 920. You can follow us all week long. Also on Twitter at twitter.com/ST920. Of course, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ST920. And also on our blog at sportstalk920.blogspot.com. So until next time, thank you all for joining me on the road here as I travel back to the motherland of Wisconsin. Thank you all for joining me this week for the latest episode of Sports Talk 920. And until next time, good night now.